Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Weir. I'm one of the committee members for the RPMA. And today you are joining us on this webinar with our esteemed guest speaker, Richard, who is the owner-operator of Manage My Property, and he is a very experienced property manager. Do you want to say g'day quickly, Richard?
Oh, hi, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the day so far.
So today's topic for this webinar is a lot of our members had sort of been calling for this one, actually. It was to help sort of streamline your inbox. I don't think I need to sort of remind everyone how busy our inboxes can get when we're involved as a property manager or running a property management business or both. You know, for instance, I just looked at my inbox a minute ago, and in the 5 minutes leading up to this, I'd received 5 or 6 emails myself. So in our jobs, we get so many emails. So I think this is going to be a very worthwhile webinar, and I think we'll be able to pick up some great tips from Richard. So without any further ado, as your facilitator, I'm going to pass you over to Richard. Richard, looking forward to hearing from you, mate. Passing over to you now.
I hope I can meet your standards, Ryan. So good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us. It's greatly appreciated. Emails, the modern monster that rules our lives. In this game, emails will drive you to the brink of insanity if you don't manage them well. And over the years, I've gathered all sorts of information about this. So a quick litmus test for you. How many emails, I want you all to sort of think about this. You can send us a comment as well. How many emails do you have in your inbox right now? What would that number be? If you have a number that's greater than 0, that's probably too many. Operating a 0 inbox policy every day, if you operate that, then you've definitely got it made. But if you answered between 10 and 25,000 emails, you've probably got too many in there. So I've got some general tips, first of all, to share with you, which could help you manage your inbox better and manage your communications better, because communication is the big thing in property management. It's talking to your owners, it's talking to your tradespeople and your tenants. So 7 simple little habits for you. The first one is coming from the angle of security and communication. Never delete an email. Archive it. If you delete it, it's gone. Okay, yeah, you can rescue it if you know you deleted it by accident, but always archive, and then you can find it 2 years down the track when you're trying to find out what happened back then. You will find that email still there. Second one for you, don't check your emails until you get to work. So if you're sitting in traffic on the motorway at a standstill, don't think that going into your emails on your phone is going to ease your pain significantly. It's probably going to wind you up because you can't do anything while you're sitting in a traffic jam. So leave your emails until you get to work and deal with business at work if you can. That will help preserve your sanity. The third one I've got here is more to do with communication style. If you're replying to a difficult email, it could be you've had a long wordy email from an owner who's upset about something, or a tenant who is calling you all sorts of names. If you find yourself typing an email back to these people and you get to, let's say, the second or third line of that email, it's time to pick up the phone and call them and talk to them. You will get through so much more quickly all the stuff that has been thrown at you, and you won't have to send endless emails and have them cluttering up your inbox. So that's a good tip to keep yourself sane. In fact, if you get an angry response, another good thing to do is to type up your bitter and twisted response, but don't hit the send button. It's good to vent, and it's good to get it out of your system. Go and have a cup of coffee and a chocolate biscuit and and do something else for a couple of hours and then come back to that email and read it again. And one thing that I'd enhance that with is, if you are composing an email back to somebody, read it out loud and see what it sounds like when it's read out loud. It can sometimes sound angry or missing the point. So you want to be careful with those. Got a big one here for you. I'm sure that you all go on regular holidays and breaks and weekends away. And when you do, you put your out of office on your email. So let's say you've gone away for 2 weeks and you've gone to Fiji, you lucky dog, and laid on the beach and drink pina coladas. When you come back to the office after 2 weeks away and take off your out of office, select all the emails that were sent to you during the time you were on holiday and delete them. Sorry, archive them. Does that sound a difficult thing to do? Does it sound wise? I think it sounds wise because it will help you with your sanity. If you've had somebody at the office dealing with your emails while you've been away, why would you have to read the previous 2 weeks of work? You don't need to do that. So delete or archive your emails for the time you were away and start fresh with the new business that's in your inbox on your first day back from holiday. You can also use your out of office, and this is one of Ryan's tips, which he gave me not 5 minutes ago. Use your out of office facility for if you've got a full day of inspections. Let's say you're doing several inspections across the day and you've got 2 meetings, you're out on the road all day. People will still try and get hold of you. Just put an out of office on your email and tell people that you'll reply to them tomorrow or you'll reply to them later on today. If you do that though, don't forget to turn your out of office off again when you get back into the office. Number 6 is probably just a common courtesy and something that can be irritating. Always have a signature file at the end of all your emails. I know that in Gmail you can set your sig file to be on every email, whether it's a reply or a CC in or whatever. There's nothing more frustrating than getting an email from Bob and you wonder who Bob is. You've got no clues, you don't know his phone number, you've got to go and look it up. If it's a client or a tenant, you've got to jump into your property files and waste time looking for their information just to call them back. So always have a signature file that has your phone number and your email contact. And my 7th general tip is don't respond to an email that you've been CC'd into. Unless you are expecting to be involved in the conversation. If you've just been CC'd into something for your information, don't jump into the conversation because you'll clutter up your inbox. That's another one in the sanity basket that will keep you from being overloaded. So that's kind of the first half of what I've got for you today. I've got some specific practices for you. It's more the mechanics of this. Rather than just something that's going to keep you from going mad. And they all apply both to Outlook and Gmail or whatever email service you use. So I have 8 specific practices for you. Number 1 is only keep emails that need immediate action in your inbox. Otherwise, you get this huge long list of emails that can actually just put you off course for the day. You might not be able to have a zero inbox policy, but be ruthless about the messages that you keep active and that you've got something to do with the content of that email. The second one is use subfolders or labels. I know we use Gmail in our business and we use labels all the time, would be a request for an appraisal or it's an owner email or it's to do with a specific property. You can set up labels and groups and folders for your emails, and my whole team does this. They use a whole string of folders for properties, and it keeps the conversation just attached to that property as an example. And you want it to be an easy to decode subfolder or label system. The next one I've got is using inbox rules and filters. So if you've heard of Debbie Mayo Smith, some of you may have, she gives lots of useful tips to do with filtering emails as they come in. So newsletters get put into a separate folder for looking at later. Obviously, junk goes to junk mail. Anything to do with the immediate business of the day, it stays in your inbox. You can use filters and rules. If you've got invoices coming into you, they can go straight off to you, whoever does your invoicing and your admin. So you can it helps you categorize your emails and keep things clean. Next one is again to do with sanity. Something that I do worry about with my team, because you're probably the same as we are. We're all working hard and we're all slowly going mad. Don't leave junk mail in your inbox. It's good to just go through and cull it all. If you find it interesting, read it, but if not, just delete it, get rid of it. Be brutal with the unsubscribe button. I use a 3-strike rule for promotional emails. If I get a third go at it, I just block it and it doesn't turn up in my inbox again. Next one is, in fact, all the rest of the specific practices are for your sanity. Create templates. Now in Gmail, it is called templates. If you find that you're regularly writing the same email again and again, create a template and use that. It will save you a lot of time. It means you effectively reply to people's emails in a structured way, and it helps keep your inbox clear. It's very easy to create a template. So whether you're in Outlook or Gmail, it's a simple process. Second to last one, again for your sanity, set aside time in your calendar for checking your emails. So in a previous session that I've done as well, I mentioned, if any of you were at that session as well, I mentioned having a time slot in your day, an appointment in your day when you check your emails. You could do it 2 or 3 times a day. I don't check my emails till after 10:30 in the morning. That gives me a chance to deal with the immediate fires and solve things and plan my day. Then I tackle my emails. And I teach everybody that contacts me, this is how I operate. I don't answer my emails at 6 in the morning. So it's a good idea to put, say, a half-hour or an hour meeting with yourself in your calendar. And that's when you're going to go through your whole inbox and deal with everything then. And once you finish your next slot, let's say it's going to be at 2 o'clock, and you do the same again. It will help keep you sane and keep control on the endless emails. And the last one, which I discovered many years ago, turn off email notifications on your phone and on your desktop email. I know it's self-validating to have the little red box saying you have 972 emails because you are very important, but your sanity is even more important. You should pull your emails into your phone rather than having them pushed to you, because when this thing starts going ding, ding, ding all the time in your pocket, it will drive you insane. So I think that's probably enough brain power used up. But does anyone have any questions they'd like to contribute?
That there, Richard, was fantastic. I might just chip in here while we wait for some questions to come through. You're breaking my heart, Richard. I was going to try and build on some of the things that you had said. And you know what? Everything that I had written down to try and build on, you ended up covering off. So I might just sort of reiterate some of the things that you said. I don't think we can sort of understate the benefit of what you touched on with email rules. In Microsoft, I use email rules, and automation is a bit of a buzzword at the moment. Everyone's talking about AI and automation. Well, email rules is a form of automation. So when a particular email comes in and it's fully customizable. You can tell Outlook how to deal with that without you having to do anything whatsoever. Another thing that I really like, and this isn't something you mentioned, Richard, so I do get one brownie point here. It's called Quick Steps in Outlook. Now, there may be a similar thing for Gmail, but I don't know the terminology. Now, I put into Google while you were speaking, what is a quick step? Because I didn't know if I could convey how good it is. And what Google said is it's a kind of shortcut that lets you perform a certain sequence of actions with one click. So I would recommend, if you have some time today or tomorrow and you do use Outlook, look into Quick Steps, because I use them every day and it cleans up my inbox and it saves me a ton of time. What else can I say? Oh, probably my favorite parts. Don't check your email until you get to work. Not only, like Richard said, it can make you anxious because you're sort of thinking about the email and wanting to reply and stuff. Leave it till you get back to work. Not only that, if you try and reply to that email when you're driving or whatever, it's dangerous, it's against the law. And don't think you'll be better at actioning that email when you get back and you've got your full-on keyboard, your mouse, everything like that. You can make sure it's a well-written email. You've got the right grammar and punctuation and things like that. I also liked how Richard said, if you're writing 2 or 3 lines, it's time to pick up the phone. I used to work with someone who had a bit of a slogan, and they used to say, phone for conversation, email for confirmation. So if you pick up the phone, you get into the nitty gritty, then when you come to type your email, it's just, hey, Bob, as per discussions, and then you can just bullet point it. And that's a really quick way to confirm what was spoken about. So yeah, they were my highlights. And let's check what question we've had. Heather, thank you for your question. If we only leave emails that need immediate action in the inbox, what do we do with the others? They all take time to action. What would you say to that, Richard?
What do we do with the others? Oh, that's tempting to answer that in a slightly offhand way. So what would you do with the others? That's where you're using filters and labels and other email inboxes so that you can sort things through. It's just really trying to minimize the number of emails that you've just got sitting. If you've got this long list of emails, it's very off-putting. The other thing is being brutal about deleting emails, archiving emails, just knocking them off your inbox. Some stuff is just people replying, saying thanks or whatever, that's part of a polite conversation, but you don't need that cluttering up your inbox. So if you only leave emails that need immediate action in the inbox and you are still struggling, then you're obviously not taking action on your emails quick enough, is my thought. Does that answer your question, Heather? I hope so.
Thanks for that, Richard. We have another one. It appears to be quite technical. It's from Margot. Thanks, Margot. Has anyone worked out or know how you can do this in Gmail or Outlook? How can you set specific times for your auto reply, out of office perhaps, to be operational? So, for example, 5 p.m. to 11 a.m. or 2 to 3 p.m. Now, Margot, it sounds like you might already know this, but this can be done. I know in Outlook, it's as simple as going to your out of office, and there's a little option there where you can sort of tick a box, which will enable you to be able to set a time range about when, what time of day, and also what days, I think, that your out of office works. My PA, she has it set because she finishes at 2:30 p.m. so that any emails that come in after 2:30 p.m. until 9 a.m. the next day, her out of office says, hey, I've sort of clocked off for the day. I'll be back in the office at 9. If it's an emergency, you can contact Ryan. So it can definitely be done. And if you don't know how to do it, follow your nose. I'm sure you'd be able to pull the answer for that pretty quickly through Google or YouTube. Have you got anything to add to that, Richard?
No, I know you can do that in Gmail. That's what we use. So no, that's a good point. Yeah, good
Wonderful answer. Claire, we agree. How are you? You've also put through a question. So I'm an Outlook user. Has anyone figured out to have Outlook on your phone, but only the calendar part without the email part? I would love to just take emails off permanently, but I need my calendar. So it sounds like Claire is using the Outlook calendar and she wants to suppress the email function on her app on her phone. I personally haven't I haven't needed to do that myself. I'm actually in the complete opposite camp. I use the Outlook email side of things, but I use a calendar and another app. So I'm no use to you there. I'm sorry, Claire. Do you have any comments on that one, Richard?
If I understand the question correctly, you're just, Claire, you're wanting to have just the calendar part without the email part, and in Gmail you can do that. I can't answer your question for Outlook. I've never liked Outlook, just a personal thing, and I find Gmail really good. I'm not suggesting for a minute that you change. So I think it's a Google search for that one. Just about anything that you think up that you want to do, somebody will have an answer out there. So good luck with the search.
Let's really pick on Richard. We've answered all the questions that have come through, but let's really pick on, let's give him a real hard one. Has anyone else got a difficult question, or has Richard done a fine job and there's no questions to come through?
I always do a fine job. I see a comment from Velma says that she uses an app to record meetings and take notes with artificial intelligence, and a link there. I'm intrigued by the artificial intelligence possibilities that are going to encroach upon the property management sphere and all other spheres. Just by looking at me, some of you will figure out that I'm sort of old school. I like technology, but when you start automating things, you take the human element out of it. And one of our mantras here is we pick up the phone and we talk to people. So be careful with automating and having things working in the background, because people can sense that they're being talked to by a machine as well.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Very relevant advice, Richard. Very. We've had another question from Claire, and this is it's kind of something I was going to touch on. It says, Richard, do you use Palace emails and have hints on dealing with both systems for emails coming in? And I was going to mention that because it's funny, we've all kind of been approaching this topic like we've got one inbox to manage, but is that really the truth? Because a lot of us will have a Palace inbox. I've got an inbox in my CRM system. I'm getting messages through Tapi from contractors and tenants and things. We're also getting SMSs and WhatsApps, maybe things on Slack. So really, you can't really underestimate the number of messages that are being fired at us. It's not just one inbox. So over to you, Richard. Do you have any hints on our friendly Palace inbox?
Well, yes. So two things to talk to on that. So the Palace inbox, when it first came out, I thought was going to be great, until I discovered that the email address that is that people send emails through Palace to us is not a domain based for our domain. It's something to do with Palace. So my first thought was, I have an email address and then there's the Palace email address, two different things. So I shied away from it initially, and a couple of years ago we tried it again, and my team got annoyed because they have their email inbox and they have a Palace inbox, and as you pointed out, Ryan, several other communication channels. So Tapi is one of them, Maintenance Plus, Bricks and Agent, just the list goes on. I would say as a business, you want to have 2 or 3 channels that you monitor and that are active. So I wouldn't use, for example, Tapi as a communication channel, as an inbox. It would drive me insane. I want everything to come into the one inbox that I have, and then I filter. So there's a control thing there. WhatsApp, I have a couple of people that communicate with us through WhatsApp, but I don't broadcast that we do that. So pick your channels.
So can I just follow-up question for that? So have you done away with Palace emails, Richard? So if I can just give you an example, if you've got a tenant called Bob Smith at 1 Jones Street, and you needed to issue a termination notice, are you saying that you would send that through your Gmail, or would you send that through the Palace email system?
I'd send that through the Palace email system.
Yep, I'm with you. And then what if there's some follow-on discussion from that? would it all be done through the Palace email system, or would you then move over to Gmail?
We would then move over to Gmail, and then
Oh,
if needs be, we can easily take that conversation and throw it back into Palace. I know that some property management companies record every step we take, every breath we make.
You end up with a really
Yep.
elongated Palace tenant diary.
Well, if it's to
things-
protect you when you go to a tribunal, the adjudicator's not going to read all that stuff. So you know,
I handle things exactly the way you've described, and I suspect a lot of people probably do too. Start in Palace, and if it keeps going on, it's sort of outside of Palace.
Yeah.
Right. There's no other questions that have come through. I'll just sort of say the one other highlight for me, Richard, that you mentioned as well. I think it's probably less about streamlining the inbox, but probably just general advice. There can be a lot of things that can make us get our sort of hot under the collar in property management. And what you said about writing an email, but then when you're a little bit upset, but not hitting send, maybe go get a cup of coffee or go get your lunch, come back, read that email, read it out loud, and just think before you send it. Because once you hit send, then you're a bit emotional. You can't take that back. And it could affect your reputation or your relationship with the client or the tenant. So good advice there. Just take a breath and make sure you do actually want to send that email.
Actually, when you say take a breath, there's a little device that you can use, a physical device that you can use if things are just, you've got a situation and you just feel your face going red and somebody's got your back up and you just, is to actually walk away, go and find someplace and just take 4 deep breaths. You take the breath in through your nose, let it out through your mouth, just fill your lungs and let it out again 4 times, and it just slows you down a wee bit. Much better than having a cup of coffee or a vape out in the car park or hitting a punch bag. Take 4 deep breaths. My big tip.
Couldn't agree more. And I'm not taking away from that at all. I think it's a great idea. Another thing you can do is write that email and send it to your colleague that sits beside you and say, hey, I'm a bit annoyed and I've just written this email. Do you think it's okay to send? Because they're not emotional about it. They'll tell you honestly, hey, you need to tone that down. Or they're like, no, that's perfectly professional. So yeah, I think we might wrap it up there because we're probably also keen to go and put some of those things into action. So Richard, thank you for your time, and I loved how short and sweet it was. And you went through 10 or 12 things, and even if some of us just implement 2 or 3 of those things, I think it's going to help our inbox. So love it. Now, if you guys enjoyed this webinar, remember we'll put it on our YouTube page in case you want to share it with colleagues or people in other industries even that have inboxes that are going mad. So just want to thank you all for being members of the RPMA. Hope you enjoyed this webinar, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.